joining us uh, for tonight's lecture, which is the first in a series of lecture to help the DC Club prepare for our tournament, but also all the other tournaments that are happening as part of this WRC qualification process. Host Kevin, uh, whose last name I'm going to butcher. I think it's Kevin Chi. Am I saying it right? Please tell me, Kevin.
Yeah, cheese, right? Correct.
Perfect. Is a Ho player. He's one of the strongest players of the DC club, so I'm really excited for to have him hold this lecture. A couple of house rules: please stay muted if you have a question. Then unmute yourself and ask your question. I think Kevin will also have some spaces for questions at the end of the lecture. But if you have something that's not clear, then that's also fine to ask a question. This lecture is being recorded, so it's going to be posted on YouTube as well at a later date. So that's just an FYI. Of course, let's keep things respectful and friendly. We all are the same DC club. So with that, Kevin, please take it away.
Sure. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the lecture. Today I'm going to talk about like how to the turning like a shoddy Haipais into solid hands. So let's get started. Um, since it's an advanced lecture, so maybe you need to know some of the concepts in advance. So the first one is basic tile efficiency, and the second one and third one is like balances between like call or not, or like push and fold. Um, okay. So it's okay if you don't know like exactly how that judgment goes in details, and I will cover a little bit in this lecture as well. Okay, so how do we know a hyper is good or bad? Um, I got this question very frequently when I first like played mahjong. Um, for example, there these like two examples of hypais. So we can see the first hyper is pretty good, but the second one is kind of it's kind of like slow and far away from winning a hand. But like if what if we got like some like embarrassing hand? How do we like judge whether it's good or not? Should I like just pull and just like go full efficiency? Or like we need to keep some safe tiles in my hand and be careful of other players' discard. So there are basically two factors of like a high power hand. They are speed and value. So the speed, we have some indicators to indicate the speed of our hand, how fast is hand, and we also have like the value. We can there are some like we have Dora and some other Yakus. So we can know the value of our hand. So I would like to talk about the speed first. So as for the speed, shanten is a very important concept. The meaning of shanten is that how many tiles are we away from tenpai? So I would like to introduce a little bit about how to calculate shanten because it's very important in the following lecture. So the main part of the hands we're considering is like a the standard hand, um, in which we need four males, like sequences and triplets, and one pair to build up a winning hand. So I would say, how can we calculate the shanten? Um, so we can start from an isolated tile. If we want to build a complete meld, we would need two specific tiles. For example, for one mon, we need like 2 mon and 3 mon to make it a sequence. As for the pairs, we only need one specific tile. For 1 mon, we need another 1 mon to pair it up. So since we need 4 males and one pair, that means we need 9 steps from all isolated tiles to a winning hand. And that means we need 8 steps to get 10 pi. So that's basically the way to calculate the Shanten number of a hand. Yeah, so let's give some examples. So here are the two hands I mentioned in the lecture before. Sorry, in lecture like the PowerPoint. So the first one, can you like calculate the shunting of this hand? And I'm not sure like whether I should make it like interactive or not. So we can calculate the complete part of this hand to like, for example, we have 2, 3, 4 man, which is a completed milled. So we minus 2 of our Shanten number from 8. And the 5, 5, 6 is not a complete male, but is somewhat like it's a tatsu, means it's a prototype, it's an incomplete male. So we can like calculate as one step to the winning hand. And for the pins side, we have 7, 8, 8. It's also counted as 1. And as those, we have 3 and 4. Okay, so that's all of the completed part currently in this hand. So we can add them up. Like for the completed male, we add 2, and for the other tatsu, we add 1. So we have like 5 steps completed. That means this hand is 8 minus 5 is 3 shanten. And also for the second hand and there's only 8, 9 mon and 5, 8 pin, 8, 9 pin, 3 tatsu. So I would say it's 5 shanten. It's a pretty slow hand. Okay, so let's go to the relationship among like the shanten and win rate. So the diagram is about the turn, and it's using the whole statistics. So we can just look at the orange line part. So the orange line part means with the Shanten number for Haipai, how much win rate we will have. So for example, if you are if we're in 0 Shanten, means we're 10 pi at the first turn, we can double Richie and the win rate is close to like 70%. But like how the average win rate, I would say among the whole players or like or other all the mahjong players is around 20% from 20% to 22%. So the average win rate would fall into 3 shanten and 4 shanten. So the average speed of the Haipai would be 3 to 4 shanten. If you got a 3 shanten Haipai or 4 shanten Haipai, it means the speed of our hand is is very close to the average. Okay. Yes, but it can be very different among all the 3 shanten hands. So if the shape is good, it's like this. All the like a Ryangman double-sided weight, and we have some good floaters. It's a very good shape 3 shanten. But like for the last one, all of the blocks like 1, 2 mon, 4, 4 mon, they are bad shape. Means it's very hard to get a lower shanten. So how do we how do we specify or like we make this difference of shape into a data into data representation? We can modify the shanten slightly, means a good shape 3 shanten would be closer to 2 shanten, a bad shape would be closer to 4 shanten, like that. Okay, so why I've spent that much time to talk about the shanten number. So it's we can use a systematic and systemized way to judge like whether or Haipais is above average or below average, so we can decide the strategy. We're using an adjust Shannon number. It's like um, it's like an indicator to let us know whether the hand is good or not. So first we need to get the actual Shannon number, and since the Shannon number is used for like closed hand, and we need to add some modification if we can call our hand. Since the calling would make our hand become faster, so for every Yakuhai pair we have, we are going to minus 0.5. And also we need to add some value factor. If we got like a lot of Dora of our hands, our hand will be like more valuable, and we will be like be desired to push our hands unless it's kind of far from Tenpai. So for every Dora we have, we also minus 0.5 to the adjust Shannon number. And if there's and there will also be a bonus. For example, if we have a red dragon pair and we also have a Dora pair, that means we can easily call our hand, we can easily open that, and we will be also ensure like at least 3 hand hand is be very powerful. So would be like -1 to it if we got these two combined. And after that, the borderline will be 3.5. So we'll get a look at some examples. Wait. So let me go directly. Sorry. So oops. I think I missed delete the slides on accident, but let's get a look at on this hand. On this hand, we have the 1-pin pair and the sozi. We have 2 tiles on sozi, and we also have a sha pair. So we have 4 completed steps. So this hand is in 4 shanten. Since the Dora is white, we may want to minus 0.5 to our adjust shanten number. So this hand will be 3.5, which is right on the borderline. So we can push this hand if we can draw some good tiles like Sanzo, or we can just fold. If we can just it's not fold, and we can just build our hand passively if we cannot get the tiles we want. Okay, so that's the adjusted shanty number. Okay, so we're talking about, because the lecture is about how to build like a solid hand on like a bad Haipais. So I would talk more about how to build our hand passively when our hand is kind of slow. Okay, but what's the definition of building hand passively? So the first one I need to clarify is that it doesn't mean we need to complete fold, because we can actually do something to our bad hand. But we need to make sure we at least meet one of these 2 requirements. The first one is safety, and the second one is the chance for a high value hand. Okay, so let's dive into some examples. The first one is we need to let's look at this first example. So it's turn 9, and we were having these hands in turn 9. So turn 9 is the average Ricci turn. So there might be someone already Ricci on the table, but for in this hand we're assuming someone is gonna Ricci soon. So for the first hand, since we and we have two options of it. The first one is that we keep the 3-man pair, so we can get the south pair or 3-man pair to got Tenpai. And the second choice is we can just drop 3-man in advance and keep some safety. So whether there's a Ricci on the table before we Tenpai, we can just drop this west to keep Ishanten instead of dropping the dangerous 3-man or 1-man. Okay, so that's like the basic idea of building slow Haipais. Since it's like we are slow, so it's hard for us to get Tenpai first, and we must be prepared for a possible Ricci or like other people would be got Tenpai first. Yes, so we're gonna like the important one is the Kikiri. We need to drop some dangerous tiles without influencing the dragging down or speed significantly. Okay. So I would like to talk about some techniques or like to how to build safety. So for the slow Haipais, we will value the honor tile pairs very much. It's not because we want to call it, it's because it can maintain the shape of our hand, like it can act as the head of our hand. But at the same time, it can also provide enough safety. So we can also keep the structure of our hand. Okay. So there's also some like techniques that, for example, if we don't want to drop a Dora, and so let's look at the example. Yes, so for this example, the Dora is white, but our hand is not very good. We got only like 4 blocks, and we are not none of them are in good shape. We have to like either pong or get chi or something. So in this case, we would not want to drop this Dora because if we drop it and it got ponged, that would be very embarrassing because we have to use this hand like without Dora and all bad shapes to fight against or fold. So that would be like decrease the EV of this game. So how can we do with like this hand? We can assume the Dora as a block. So it means we're gonna keep the Dora forever, basically. So maybe we can got it paired. So that so we're hoping we can get it paired. So we assume this single haku as a block. So our final hand will be like the 1 ping, this 1 block, and 1 2 so 1 block, 9 so block, and west block. Yeah, so like we can drop 1 man for this hand, but I'll talk later. Okay, so also like in order to like build a high value hand from a slow hand, we need some yakus, and I've listed some of these yakus we're gonna use, especially for slow hands. And like let's get a look of it. The first one is Kokshi. So there's some like as I know, there's some like some discussion around Kokshi, and the most important the most central part is whether we should like to draw if we got 9 types of terminals. So I've grabbed some statistical data. It's also from the whole play data, and It's collected until 2014. So it's listed in the table. So for the 9 types of terminals of Haipais, there are about 800 samples, but almost 2/3 of them choose to draw. So only 300 samples left. Among these samples, the Koshi win rate is 1.7%, and the EV is about minus 500 points. So we can see, because if we, for a normal game, a non-dealer EV is about minus 150. So it's not EV wise to keep playing from 9 types of terminal Haipais. Yes, so personally, I would recommend you to just draw when you got 9 types of terminals. But if we got 10 types of Haipais, that'd be different. Since the Koshi win rate will be I think because the sample is very limited and the sample number is very limited, so I think the win rate is kind of exaggerated. But I think we can expect as like a 10% win rate for Koshi. And we can see the EV is significantly higher than the 500 or minus 150 EV. So we can do Koshi from 10 types of Haipais. And so for the if we got less than 9 types of terminals, I would recommend that we don't need to care too much about Koshi, but if we can keep it without losing other possibilities, we can also take care of it. And the second Yaku I would like to mention is Flush. Flush is a very powerful Yaku. So it's very useful when we want to push or attack. So it's the most important reason is that it's callable and it's worth 2 Han. So besides the 2 Han, we can easily add some Yakuhai or Dora to it to make it like a 3 Han or Mangan hand. There is a terminology called Yaku dash. So it basically saying when there's 2 extra Han of the or Huizi, and it's or hand is pretty like Huizi. For example, we got like 10 tiles of 10 honor tiles and 1 suit. We can just directly go to Huizi. That's yes. And for slow hands, if we want to build a flush from slow hands, we are doing flush, so we'll be keeping honor tiles. So it also ensures some defense and the safety of our hand, and we can and we don't need to call from honor tiles since we want to keep some safety, and we can also start call with some number tiles and keep some. We can make our hand closer to Tenpai while keep some safety. And we can also do bluff. For example, if our hand is very far from Tenpai, but we wanted to push against other players, we can pretend to be like a Hui's overflow. Okay, so let's go to some examples finally. So for this hand, first let's get a look of this Shanten numbers. So the Shanten we got 6 9 6 8 man 1 1 3 pin 2 2 3 so 3 and 6 9 so 4 and the east pair 5. So this is a 3 Shanten hand. Yes. So for the 3 Shanten hand and also the draw is 5 so here since the east is Yakuhai. So since it's very likely we can get an extra Han from the ECs or either the 5 so we're gonna consider the half flush. So we're gonna drop the 1 pin. It's not a very tile efficiency play, but efficient play, but since we can see the Mangan possibility, so we drop 1 pin. And also for this hand, it's like a worse hand than the first one, but we got some um but like since if we just push it by full deficiency, it's very likely that we cannot get first tempai, and also we're gonna run out of all the safe tile we have. So we are gonna so for this hand, either normal tempai or a Hoin's tempai is far, we can still do the Hoin's. We can still do the Hoin's to keep some safety. So personally, I would cut 4-man, but like any one of these 4 tiles are good. Okay, so I'll skip this bluff example because it's an advanced technology and it's very difficult. Yeah, so we also have the Chitoi and Toitoi Yaku. So I would not recommend it to do Toitoi from a slow hand because Toitoi, the tempai would be bad because we are be waiting on our Tanki or Shampong. Also, since we need to call multiple times, and the kinds of tiles in your hand will be very limited, so Toitoi will be also hard to defend. And Chitoi, actually, we don't need to build Chitoi like intentionally in most cases. So we can just notice don't break any pair when we are still far away from Tenpai. Okay, so Chanta is another yaku I would like to mention. For Chanta, I would say it's a yaku of balance. Since we need to do a lot of decisions, for example, the first one is we need to choose between Ryame and bad shape. We have like the 6-man and 9-man 2 choices here. So it's kind of hard to decide. It depends on the pound and the point distribution. So yeah, so like we may accord we may meet these conditions to decide whether we want to keep the 6-7 Ramen or the 7-8 Kanchang, the 7-9 Kanchang. Okay, so and the other part I want to talk about is when to call. For the Chantai hand, I would like the principle of my calling hands is that I won't make any call that is bad with the first one, A, bad weight, B, need at least twice call to get tempai, 3, that is smaller than 3 han. Yeah, so I won't do like 2K bad shape twice call tempai. That's my personal standard.
So, can I ask a quick question to interject? If you were offered 8-mon chi in this scenario, you're
Sure.
saying you would not take it, even dropping 8-mon or 8-mon chi
Mm,
dropping,
dropping 6-mon,
or I guess you
6-mon.
would drop 6-mon this turn because you have 14 tiles,
Yeah.
and then 8-mon chi into dropping 8 pin. You would not take that?
Mm, I think I can take it because it's only we need only to make call once to get tempai, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like a Haku Chanta. It's a 2K to 26
Mm-hmm.
hand, so it's inside my like yeah, I might call this, but like
Mm-hmm.
it depends. For example, if it's still early and I might get
Mm-hmm.
a good like chance to reach it, I would not skip the 8-man because we can still like draw 5-man to get closer to tempai, and yeah, we don't. Maybe I would say after maybe turn 10, I
Okay.
would cheat at 8-man.
Do you think you would opt to be a little bit more aggressive with the chi if you were, for say, in the dealer position? Or do you think you would kind of you would stick to the
Mm,
same ideals no matter what seat wind you were at? Assuming it wasn't something like you were in South 4 and 2K wins you the game, so speeding up is
yes,
fine for a little bit.
of course, I would take
Yeah.
any like cheat call. But for the dealer, my
Hmm.
play style is I don't carry dealer very much,
Okay.
so the maybe I will like bring it before one turn before maybe turn
Hmm.
9 if I'm a dealer, and yes, I'm sorry. It's okay. So yes, that's all for. Let's get a review of the strategy of building from a bad hand. And the first one, we want to keep some safety. So we're gonna treat some like honor tile pair as treasures. And the second one is that we want to keep the possibility of building high value hand. So I've introduced some yaku that we can do in this case. Okay, so besides these two, I would also like to introduce two strategies to build our hand. The first one is what if, the second one is imagine the final shape. And the second is kind of like a part of the what if, but I will talk a little bit. So for what if, so we can ask what if when we are building our hands, when we're defending, or there are some like scenario that we want to push against some, especially some open hands. So for example, here is the hand. We're in the south, and we're in the south seat, and it's south 1. So south would be our double wind, and 1 so is also Dora. So in this case, we need to drop 1 tile. I would say we have the tile efficiency option is either the south or 1 so, but we can ask a what if to it. What if we go full efficiency? So for example, if I dropped south in this turn and got 7 mon or 8 pin 10 pi, what our hand would be? It would be like a Richinomi with a bad shape. So I want to avoid this future. So and it introduces like a new perspective of like looking at his hand. So we can drop 5 so in advance. Especially when it's early, we can hope 1 so to get like 2 so or 3 so or get paired, or we can get double cells for us. The hand will be more flexible since we will be able to call double cells and Chantai, that'll be a 3-hand hand. So dropping 5 so is definitely a choice. Yeah, it might not be like very instinctive, especially when we've used to play like as efficiency, but please take 5 so like in consideration. Okay, the second one is this. So it's also, I would say it's also very common. So for this hand, we need to choose between 7 so and 3 mon. So 7 mon is help us to strengthen the 6-7 block, and 3 mon is a very good floater tile. 1 is Dora, and we can also got a 2-3-4 sunship chance. So in this case, I would also like to ask what if. So what if we keep 7 so? Means if we go efficiency, what extra efficient tile the 7 so give us? So it'd be 7 so and 9 mon. Okay, so what if we got this 7 so and 9 mon? Our hand will be a bad shape Richinomi. Okay, so like that's I would drop 7 so for this hand, and to hope 3 mon to get Kuzuki, it gets some tiles around it, so we can resolve this 7-9 mon bad shape. We can cut them. Okay, so this is the case that I mentioned. So the Dora is white and our hand is pretty bad. So what if we dropped Dora and got pwned? That'd be very hard decision, like in a dilemma. So we don't want this to happen. So we are just keep this Haku. But on the other side, we also need to think this like question as a positive side. What if we got Dora? If we got Dora paired, we will see like for in this case, we got 2 honor piles, 2 blocks, and we got these 2 souls block, 4 blocks, and we also got the 1 pin block. So we already got all the 5 blocks we needed if we assume we can get a Dora. So all this 1-man, 4-man, 8-pin, 5-so. We don't need to build some blocks around them necessarily. So we can treat all of them as floater tiles. Why I'm saying that, because this hand looks like a Chantai hand, so maybe we will want to drop the 5-so or 4-man of it. But since we're assuming we got a Dora pair, we already got all the 5 blocks we need. So we actually we don't need this 1-man very much, and 1-man or 8-pin very much. Instead, we need the 4 and 5-so to upgrade the blocks we already have. So I would drop 1-man in this case. Yes, so, and there's also some scenarios that we will call this Dora. For example, if there's two people drop this Dora in a row, and we can just follow them. And also, if we got Tenpai very smoothly, for example, we drop 1 pin, nice 1, 3-so in a row, and we don't need to this Dora anymore. We can also drop it if we can get early Tenpai. Yes, and this is another Yaku. This is another case. This case is what I select from the M League. The Dora is 9-man and it's East 2 North, and we're in North seat. So this hand is not very good, but we can see the target Yaku. So it's an example of imagine the final shape. So the Dora is 9-man. We can still use that. We want to keep this Dora in our final shape, so we can treat it as a block. So if we got 9-man's block, we can see like a 7, 8, 9 Sanshoku or Chanta. Yes, this hand is also able to do Kokshi, because we got 8 kinds of terminal tiles. So if Yakuhai got paired, we are gonna still hope to build some block around the 9-man to get some value. So Yakuhai will be a bonus, but it would not be the essential Yaku we're considering. Okay, so I think we'll skip the bonus question right now, since already the time is already up. So we can directly jump to the Q&A session. Do you guys have any any questions about this lecture?
I was gonna say you have plenty of time, Kevin, if you'd like to go over that bonus example too.
Which example?
The one that you skipped over.
Let's do the bonus and let's get some activity, some audience participation.
Sure. So it's actually the day before yesterday, M League part. So it's in South 4. The dealer is 3 times called Hong Yici. So the Dora is 3-so, and we can see the dealer pawned 2 Otakaze and 6-so. So I would say it's a good exercise for what if and what if principle. Like, yeah, but
Have at it. Go ahead. Don't be shy.
Yes, and so our hand, the hand of ourselves is very good, and we can push it. The problem is that whether to drop this 5-so or 6-so. I would say if there's for example the example is not very good we can just replace this 7, 8, 9-man as a 9-man anko. So the pinfu wouldn't be a factor of this question. So what when we want to decide between 5-so and 6-so, we can ask ourselves this question: what if 6-so deal in, and what if 5-so deal in? As we can see, 6-so's already Kabe. Oops. So if 5-so deal in, it'd be pretty like to be a 3-4-so. Since the Dora is 3-so, the hand would be 3 hand at least. It'd be Hong Yici Dora 1 at least. But if we drop 6-so, the 6-so won't deal into any Shangpeng or Tanki since it's the last 6-0. The only possibilities are 7 and 7/8 so roundman or like a 4/5 so roundman. So if we deal into 4/5 so roundman, that'd be not very likely since not very likely to be exceeds 2 Han. It'd be a Hon Tsunomi. The same, like if it's a 7/8, so that'd be the same. As long as the deer doesn't get the Dora pair, will be good since it'll be only 29 or 3900, even if we're dealing. So in this case, we can just drop 6-0 and call Richie instead of drop 5-0.
So, Kevin, are you saying that basically because of perceived value, even though the Entotsu 2/5 pin 5 so weight is arguably worse than the 4/7 so weight?
Um,
Assuming you didn't have Pinfu and it was the same value of Richi Dora 1.
I think 4/7 so
Mhm.
is slightly better
Yeah,
since
because you have Kabe on the
we can
7,
see others.
correct?
Yes. And there might be some reason that other players would not be brave enough to drop some Sosu, so we don't get information about it. But it's usually since the dealer only got 4 tiles in their hands, so they don't got enough like Sosu tiles. So 4/7 so is still better than the Intel's shape.
Okay, so you would risk the perceived higher deal in value of either a possible Toy Toy Honitsu or a Dora Honitsu for 3 Han because of the better weight and the Kabe that 6-0 brings to the 7-0, correct? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, that's what I say. And I think for the open hand, the first one is that we cannot ensure whether they're Tenpai or not. So we can push harder than to Richie. And the other side is like we can read more information of this hand. For example, if we're in the actual game, we can tell that the dealer is very likely to have a Yakuai pair. So that's also a reason that I dropped 6-0, because if the pair is Yakuhai, the 6-0 would not deal into like 3 hand. Okay, so do you have any other questions?
I have a question. You mentioned the Yaku Yaku Dash, which
Sure,
sounded like a cool slogan. Can you go more into that, please?
sure. Yaku Yaku Dash is the original mean is if we got 2 Yakuhai pair and we got some a nice number tile of the same suit, we can just go Hoins directly. Since Hoins is 2 Han and 2 Yakus are 2 Han, our hand will become a callable manga. So that is really powerful, like a fast and expensive hand. That's why we, like in this case, the priority of Hoins would increase. Yes, I would take the first example of this slide. So for example, if we got Haku pair, but at the same time, maybe the pin's shape became like 3/4 pin, we would still drop 8/6 mon. We'll drop 8/6 mon first. So let me see again. We got 6/8 mon, but 3/4 pin, and the Sosu shape and 2 Yakuai pair. Since we got 2 Yakuai pair, it's easy for us to do a callable manga. So we really want to do Sosu Hoins in this case. So we will drop 8/6 mon and might drop 3-4 pin in the future.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Kevin, I was also wondering if you would go back. I know there was another example earlier in your presentation, and it might even be this flush buff slide, that you said you would skip over because it was a rather advanced technique. And I was wondering if you would go back to it. I think it was this. It might have been something else, though.
Yes, it is this slide. Yeah, I can go over this like this
Yes,
picture.
yes, please.
Sure. So it's a nine-dan player, I think. Yes, and we can see it's south one. The door is so the first one is that the point distribution. So the so since how like the 10 hole is a force avoidance game, so the direct competitor is the dealer, is the first place dealer. So also the door is the door is honor tile, which can be used in like 品质红一次. And the third
when
one,
you, just a really quick question, when you say the door is east, do you mean the door indicator is east or east itself is the door?
east itself.
East itself. Okay.
Yes. So the door indicator is north. Yeah. So by bluff, there are several like requirements we need to meet, and I believe it can be held like another independent lecture itself. But like I'll mention the factors it means in a shortly. So the first one is that we can get use of Dora, so we can build a really expensive hand that might be scary to other players. The second one is the point distribution. The top place and second place would not want to push against an expensive hand since they are already in a leader place. And we can also drag the pace of the east a little bit. That's the usage of this bluff. And also we can drop this overflow tile without influencing the efficiency very much. That means we can also, there's still a way. For example, if you got 3-pin and 8-pin, we can also got 10-pin. That's pretty much of this picture and the requirement it meets. I think I will, if you're interested in, I have a Japanese lecture, and I can kind of trying to translate a little bit to English.
I was just going to follow up and really quickly ask, are you saying that because you're trying to bluff a Honitsu, like an expensive Honitsu that's Tenpai, towards a board that is likely to respect it, that is the reason you would drop 4-pin, a dangerous inside Pinzu for that hand, as opposed to 6-mon or even 1-pin, which would be more efficient in this scenario?
Yes. So the 4-pin is also like would tell other players that we're overflowed, or we're overflowed. So that's the other usage of this 4-pin. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much. I think we're at 50 minutes. I have one final question,
Sure.
because I think we covered a lot of ground today, and I'm going to definitely go back and review all of these slides. If you had to give 3 takeaways for the people here, what would those 3 points be? Because there's so much information here. Like I want to have at least 3 things that they can carry with them to the next tournament.
Sure. I would say the first one is to judging like the adjusted shanty number of the Haipais. So we've mentioned how to calculate it. So the most important I would like to mention is actually it. So if the adjusted Shannon number is above 3.5, we need to consider build or hand passively. And the other 2 points would be like two main concern of building hand passively is keep safety and keep high value possibility.
I love that. So efficiency is not important. You can sacrifice some efficiency as long as you keep safety and maybe some dream of a big hand. You don't close the door on the dream. It's okay to go less efficient.
Yes, because even if we go full efficiency in this case, since our Haipais is not very good, it's still very likely we cannot get first Haipais. And if we go full efficiency, we usually don't have enough safe tile. We have to push with a not very good hand. We have to drop a lot of dangerous tiles. That would be not very good for EV or like the game itself.
Awesome. With that, I just want to thank you so much for your time as well as effort. I can see by the slides. You put a lot of effort into this. I know you're also starting a new job, so thank you so much for taking time to prepare this presentation and also to give it to us. I found it very useful. I hope everyone else did also. And thank you, Harrison, for the good questions and prompts.
Thank you very much for listening. Yeah, I will post the slides and I'll structure a little bit and then I'll post it like the Google slide link to the Discord channel. So if you got any question after it, you can also ask me directly. So please feel free to ask.
Awesome. Eventually, this lecture should go up on YouTube as well. And don't forget to catch our next lecture, which is going to be given by Harrison. I believe next week, right?
Yes. Yes, March 8th it should be.
So next Friday.
Yes, next Friday.